We're starting to slow down here, so I'll get started. Again, thank you for joining us. If you've just logged in, this is ProLink Solutions webinar series. We have a product called Procorem, which many of you use regularly to communicate with your state housing finance agencies throughout the year and especially during compliance. Today's session is covering average income test, or AIT, unit designations in Procorem, the tenant portal for tenant event submission. So I'm Bree Kruder. I'm the Executive Vice President for ProLink. So I work heavily with our agency clients, syndicator and investor clients of ours, and then our owner agents as well. I'm joined by Jim Paris today, who is our trainer for the topic that we're going to be covering. I'm going to give a brief introduction before I hand it over to Jim to cover today's topic on AIT. So if you're new to ProLink or this is your first webinar joining us, we have been a technology provider in the affordable housing industry for over 20 years now. We got into affordable by way of supporting our state and local finance agencies with their portfolio management systems for their live tech programs. And then we really expanded from there to support many other affordable housing programs at that regulator level across the industry. We also, over time, expanded our offering to support syndicators and investors with their portfolio management systems. And I'd say by default, through the process of supporting those different parties in affordable, we've come up with some really great tools to also support our developer community and our owner agents as well. So really our work is founded in supporting the full deal life cycle of affordable housing. So from that origination stage, all the way through asset management and compliance monitoring. Our systems really support our clients through that entire life cycle process, really hoping to streamline and make it more efficient. On top of covering that deal life cycle, because of the work that we've kind of built off of over the years in this industry, our goal is now evolved to support all the parties involved in affordable housing. So there's a lot of efficiency to be gained across each step of this process, but there's plenty also of efficiency to be gained across the different parties involved in creating affordable housing in the United States. So that's really our goal with the products that we provide in this industry. Our team, we're technologists first, but plenty of industry experience after, the majority of our existence being in affordable housing. So we are unique with that, I would say. We've been supporting our agencies and their partners, owner agents, for over 10 years through compliance, tenant event submission using Procorem, directly working with owner agents. So plenty of experience over the years, seeing all the different kind of nuances and scenarios. There's always new things that come up, and we're here to support you through that process. So before I hand it over to Jim, I just want to remind everybody, we did host a 2-hour training. If you weren't able to join it, you can look on our YouTube channel. You can email us. There's going to be details on our contact information below here. But we did a 2-hour kind of comprehensive training that covered the tenant event portal in January, kind of late January, with Sarah Supernaut, who's part of our customer support team and one of our head trainers. So she's heavily involved in supporting our owner agents through this busy season of compliance. The series that we're offering right now is breaking down that 2-hour training into segmented topics that were covered in that 2 hours. So last time we kind of covered the basics of logging in and accessing Procorem and the tenant portal and what that XML upload process looks like. Today we're covering AIT, and then I think we'll announce at the end of this session what the next topic will be. But we're just breaking down our large kind of comprehensive training into solidified topics, and we'll continue to share those with you. We'll be hosting these every 2 weeks, basically through the middle of April. So please continue to join us, and we look forward to supporting you. If there's any questions that you have after this training, If we don't scratch the surface of what you're looking for, if you have a specific need, please reach out to us and we'd be glad to help you out. So yeah, just send an email. Again, we'll have some contact information at the end of this deck so that you know how to do that. You can also just put your information and your question in the chat throughout this presentation. And with that, Jim, I'm going to hand it off to you to cover our topic today. Thanks everybody for being here.
Thank you, Bree. Thank you. Give me 1 second here. Let me pull up Procorem for you guys, and we'll get right into it on the AIT designations here on the tenant portal. All right, everybody should be seeing Procorem here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit as well. All right, so I'm in my Procorem tenant portal. This is going to look at least a little bit familiar to you guys, depending on the experience levels on this call. But very similar look and feel here to how the tenant portal has always looked, even prior to the AIT designations that we now have to work with moving forward. When I see all my years here, 2021, 2022, 23, 24, big difference on this screen is I'm going to see this little button here, change my AIT unit designations. So that's like one of the bigger changes to this screen here. So there's really going to be 3 ways that I'm going to go through today in terms of how you upload your unit designations in the Procorem tenant portal. The first way is going to be definitely the easiest way if your property management system can accommodate it. The first way is going to be if your property management system will give you a NAMA XML version 7 file with your AIT unit designations in that file already, then you're good to go. This is going to be very straightforward for you on the Procorem side of things. So if you do have one of those systems and you are tracking your unit designations in your property management system and it has NAMA, the version 7 of NAMA, then this is going to be almost just as straightforward as uploading your tenant events in the past without AIT in them in the past. So it's going to be very, very simple for you. On the Procorem side, of course, I mean, getting that information in your property management system, you'll do a little bit more legwork on that side before you get to Procorem. But once you get to Procorem, if you have version 7 with the unit designations in there, this is going to be very easy. I'm going to go to choose file, just like I would any other way, and I have my XML file here for Mayfair Manor in 2024, and it does have my average income test information in there in this file, and it is a NAMA version 7 file. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to upload that. I'm going to wait for the processing for 30 to 60 seconds here. All right, so now I've imported all of that data via that XML file. It is version 7, as you can see here, and it did include that average income test, that unit designation information. So now I'm going to go back to my 2024 units, and I'm going to validate this data. So this, again, this is going to be a very similar process that you have seen before in the past in the tenant portal, even before average income test was a requirement and was in here. So I'm going to go validate these events. So I'm going to revalidate it. All right, so now I've got 2 errors. This is going to be very easy for me to fix because it's just 2 errors. I'm going to go to unit 104. This is just one where it's telling me, hey, you can't have a move in unless somebody moved out, of course. So that's going to be really easy for me to correct. I'm sure this is just some kind of typo, maybe over in the property management system that I got the XML file from, or there was just some kind of error along the way. Maybe something's missing. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to fix this one. I'm going to go back to 2023. I'm going to mark Claire as a move out. So now it will make sense that the new I think I have to change this here given the AIT information. All right. So now I've marked Claire as a move out. So now it will make sense that we had a move in after that. So now I'm going to go back to this file, go look at my other error. So when AIT is marked with Y for qualified group of units, then the applicable fraction group should also be marked Y. So that is my error on 101 here. So I'm just going to go into there and I'm going to correct. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to correct my applicable fraction entry here and mark Y to make it make sense. Save and return. So now that I have changed both of those records, I should be able to validate all of this with no errors. All right, there we go. So I can go ahead and submit these unless I kind of want to wait, have somebody else look at them. But now my tenant events are validated. So again, if you have a property management system that lets you record average income test information and it supports NAMA version 7, that will be kind of the easiest way on the Procorem side of things to submit these tenant events along with AIT unit designations. So that's method one. And I mean, I personally would recommend this method if it's feasible for you to do it, given your current property management system and how you guys manage things internally. So I'm going to go back to 2024 units and show you what the second way will be. And the second way is going to involve more steps. So I would say this second way is going to be kind of the most manual way for you guys. And for method number 2, what I'm really going to have to do is I can import tenant events like I usually do. But let's say I only have NAMA version 6 and it doesn't support AIT unit designations. Or I do have NAMA version 7, but I don't really record AIT unit designation information in my property management system for whatever reason. What I would have to do is I could import my tenant events as usual, but then of course my AIT unit designation information is going to be missing from those records. So how would I handle that? One way is going to be going in here and manually entering that information in. So on my 2024 year, where I have to enter average income test information, I can go in and I can manually edit that information for Leslie Hunter. So I'll go into here and I can just manually edit this information just like I would any other way. For Leslie Hunter, I have my basic information for her on this tab. And then I will go back to 2024 units. And I can go ahead and change her AIT using that unit designations as well. So if I go in here and I go to building 1, unit 101, now I have my unit designation, qualified group of units, and applicable fraction group information. Again, we went over this earlier. If it says yes up here, it's going to have to say yes down there as well. But now I can go in and I can either add this information if it didn't already exist in here. So if I do have that NAMA version 6 that is not putting this information up there, or if I do have version 7 and it's just not, and this information is just not recorded in my file, I can add this unit designation information right from here. So my percentage, my effective date, This is typically just going to be the first of the year. And then any reason for changing that unit designation, that's going to be entered here. I'm going to go ahead and cancel this. And it would be the same for qualified group of units. I would go in, I would enter that information here. I can add comments if I want, and then it would go back. And then my applicable fraction group. So these are going to be 3 pieces of data that you're going to have to make sure are input in the tenant portal before you submit that file. And again, method 1, which is having a NAMA version 7 file that supports this information. So it would already be in here. And method 2 is going to be going into each unit and adding it manually. So the last way to input AIT designations is going to be through using this template import that we have. So after you have submitted your tenant events through the tenant portal here, if you have AIT unit designation information missing from that file, what you can do is you can download this template. And what this template is, this template will bring in kind of the building and unit information that the state agency has on record for you into this spreadsheet. So it's going to pull in your building 1's information. And these first 4 columns, these are here for reference based on the information that the agency has about your property. So these, you can change them in this template. I wouldn't recommend it because it doesn't really affect what happens when you upload them. These 4 columns are really the columns that you need to fill out that are going to be part of what gets uploaded and updated in the system after you submit this template. So this just gives you a little bit of a way to have more of a shortcut and a little bit less manual of a process. You still do have to go in here and manually enter information on each unit's AIT designation, change regions, effective dates, and any comments. But what it allows you to do is gives you one place to enter all that information in for all of your units, instead of having to go to each unit's profile in the AIT designations in Procorem and enter that in on an individual page for each unit. It gives you all the units here in one spreadsheet. I fill out this one spreadsheet, I upload it, and then this AIT information gets updated for all the units that were in this spreadsheet. So that's method 3. So we went over 3 methods here. One is you already have that NAMA version 7 file from a property management system that has your AIT designation information in it already. Again, that's going to be the easiest from the Procorem side. 2, I can go in there and I can manually enter those AIT designations on a unit per unit basis within Procorem. And then 3, I can download this template, fill out that spreadsheet referencing the AIT unit designation information against the units in my buildings, uploading that and kind of updating them all in one fell swoop with that Excel file. So those are the 3 ways to handle uploading AIT designation information in Procorem. So I'm going to kind of end with that. I'm going to go back to our PowerPoint presentation and just recap a couple things for you guys and close it out here. And of course, you know, we're here if you guys want to follow up with us. If you want a copy of any of the presentation information today. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for 1 second and pull up the presentation. So before I close things out, I do want to remind you guys we do have a compliance service offering that we have launched this year for owner agents. I have gone over this in the past. If you are interested in any of this, feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is going to be at the end of this presentation and in the follow-up materials we provide as well. So overview of this offering, you will get a dedicated Procorem account for your organization, and that will include resources and a Procorem account set up in a way to help you with the tenant data collection process. So you're going to have kind of like tasks and workflows that really guide you along the process to collect that tenant data every year for those recertifications or during the tenant qualification process. You will have a place to have a central tenant file management system. So instead of having physical kind of file cabinets in your office, you will have kind of an electronic, what we call an electronic file cabinet in Procorem. And if you do get audited by the state, it would be as simple as inviting them as a collaborator into that Procorem account, into those Procorem work centers, so they can kind of view the records that you have on file for any of your tenants or your units. That leads us to compliance audit readiness. It's going to make it very, very easy for you to provide your supporting documentation to the state agencies in the event that an audit does happen. And you will have access to us as well in terms of helping you set this up, or any questions you might have on specific processes around certifying your tenants or qualifying potential tenants. So that's today's webinar. We will be following up with some recap material after today, and our next webinar is going to be on March 28th. It's going to go into a little bit more hands-on detail on how to import tenant events via that XML file. More of in a general sense on how to upload all of that information. Today was mostly focused on average income test designations in that XML file, but this is going to kind of take you from start to finish, how to upload that XML file as a whole, or if you don't have XML files, maybe you have a smaller property and you're not downloading that file from a property management system, we will go through manually adding tenant events, and then of course validating and submitting those tenant events to the state agency through Procorem. So again, guys, thank you so much for joining us. If you are interested in any of the compliance services or anything, this is my contact information. You got my phone number as well as my email here. I'd be happy to hear from you guys and answer any questions you might have. So I think I'm going to pass it on to Bree if you have anything to say to close it out, or we can close it out here.
I think you're good. Yeah, thank you guys for your time. We'll see you in a couple of weeks, and reach out if you need us. Have a great afternoon.